Long-time followers of this channel may be wondering why, for the last 3 videos, this one inclusive, I have been wearing civvy clothes and not my regular Viking clothes. You would be right to ask this. Apparently I have been rather indulgent during isolation. Not apparently, definitely. I went through my wardrobe, changing out some of my summer linens for my winter wools, trying to get ready for the season change because it is now winter here in Victoria, Australia. And I came upon an unfortunate discovery. I no longer fit my winter wools. So rather than stand here in my linen shift, and that is essentially the medieval equivalent of my underwear, scandalous, I thought I would instead take this opportunity to make myself some new clothes. Part of being a historical costumer is that I spend a lot of my time sitting down sewing and not a lot of time running around. When there's no reenactment events to go to, that's doubly so. I've got all the more time to make costumes. However, as most costumers who make for other people will know, we rarely get time to work on our own stuff. We're making for everyone but ourselves. And so I have ended up with no winter clothes. So the project for this video is for me to actually make some new winter clothes. I've already moved on my old winter clothes, they've gone to new homes, none of it went to the bin. Which means that I have nothing to wear except civvy clothes. So, NVG represent. No, that's not fair. I made that sound very sarcastic, but I actually really do love my NVG family. Particularly my particular garrison. Duh. Biased as heck. So yeah, time to take some measurements. Alright, let's do this. I went with a simple plain brown twill because, as you know, I'm a big fan of keeping things simple. As much as I do love the bright and wonderful colours we can achieve with other dye stuffs, brown is definitely one that is very easy to do even by accident, and so it's one that I want to add more to my wardrobe. I think you'll agree the brown that I went with is deceptively beautiful. It has wonderful tones, both shadows and in the light, and it's going to go well with a lot of different things in my wardrobe. The wool is a medium weight wool, so it will be cool enough for when the weather starts to fine up slightly, but it's also thin enough that I can layer it with other garments if I need to when it's very, very cold. The pattern for this wool tunic is not all that dissimilar from the previous linen tunic I've made, and you can check that out in the card above. Instead of having the gauze in the side pieced from multiple smaller pieces, I've gone for just a larger single piece of fabric because that's what the width of my materials allowed. And while evidence for tunics is patchy at best for the time period I'm focused on, I decided to go with a full ankle length tunic just because I wanted something that's going to be warm given most of our events happen in the cooler months. The entire tunic is completely hand stitched, all the seams felled as well by hand. The neckline was a simple, small, double-turned edge, same with the hemline and the cuffs. And it took me approximately 3 evenings worth of work to get it all finished. I used undyed, unbleached linen thread that I waxed each time I needed to thread the needle. I cut the neckline on this one slightly wider than I did on my linen tunic, only because I didn't want the wool rubbing against my skin as that kind of really irritates my neck. I tend to situate the top of my gauze slightly higher up than I see a lot of other people doing. My body just needs a little bit more shaping and a little bit more room to move around the hips. So to give it that extra room, adding the gauze sitting a little higher up tends to help facilitate that. So this tunic is going to be one of my everyday working tunics. It'll be one that I wear frequently at events when I'm around the campfire. It's going to be one that I don't mind getting stained or muddy or dirty, so it's going to be a good all-rounder for my wardrobe. So that's it for this particular tunic. Now I have one slightly warmer piece of clothing for my winter wardrobe. Now because the evidence for the Viking Age grave finds that we have are so inconsistent, to wear this with or without an apron dress would be perfectly appropriate. If you were portraying someone of a lower status, you would probably wear it without an apron dress because you wouldn't have the money for things like tortoise brooches or the beads or any of the accessories that go along with an apron dress. Fundamentally, you don't have to wear this with a belt either. The tunic is just fine without it, although I do personally like the way it creates a good silhouette, the way the belt pulls it all in and the gathers bunch around the waist. And I also like having the ability to sort of draw my skirts up through the belt if I need to, for example, wade through long grass or anything like that, and then the bottoms of my skirts don't get as wet or muddy or whatever. I'll be expanding my wardrobe further in future videos, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be sure you're notified when those videos come out. That's all I have for you today. Bye for now. I think for this video you can have 7 points.